Shareef O'Neal, son of ex-basketball legend and full-time anti-celebrity status literal giant Shaquille O'Neal, has recently signed a six-figure NBA contract with G League Ignite, and it's a big deal. If you're interested in knowing the details of this deal, then stick around, as today we'll be going over all the recent news and updates in the world of the NBA. First of all, let's talk about the contract itself. The NBA's experimental minor league team has just added another major prospect to their roster. The younger O'Neal looks forward to raising his profile after a series of medical problems derailed his college career and caused him to go undrafted in 2022. The 22-year-old has had open heart surgery during his time at UCLA back in 2018, and then consecutive foot injuries in 2020 and 2021 after he transferred to LSU, his father's alma mater. During this time in the 2022 Summer League, he averaged about 4.7 points per game, 3.7 rebounds in just 10 minutes on the court while playing for the Lakers. This is not good enough if you compare his scores to his father's average during his first year for the same team. Ignite has mainly been established to act as a team for the development of high school and international basketball players who choose not to follow the traditional pipeline of college basketball to get into the NBA. A few notable players have also recently committed to this program. Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, and Scott Henderson are just some of the major players who have joined through this program, all of whom were top drafts in their international and minor leagues. Although many of the specifics of the team's contract, including O'Neal's, aren't usually made public, Green and Henderson both signed up for $500,000 per season to play for the minor league team. Ignite's main talent rival is the Overtime Elite, where many top prospects such as Matt and Ryan Bewley have recently signed for $500,000 as well. But still, the traditional route of college basketball appeals to many of the top high school players, especially if you look at it from a financial perspective. The NIL market is projected to reach $1 billion in its second year. It just goes to show that whatever they do, top basketball prospects will always have more options to cash in. However, it seems that there are some disagreements between the father and son duo. Apparently, Shaq doesn't see eye to eye with his son Shareef on one significant matter regarding this recent contract signing. While Shareef's eligible for the NBA draft this year, back in June he revealed that he has butted heads with his Hall of Fame father because of the pre-draft process, as Shaq wants him to stay in school. Considering the fact that he was redshirt junior for the LSU Tigers last season, the 6'10 forward still has some college eligibility left. However, Shareef has decided to forgo the opportunity to graduate and is working out to join some of the notable NBA teams. When asked about his decision, he only had one thing to say: "I'm a grown man and I can make my own decisions." Well, regarded for his wise parenting, it's understandable why Shaq wants his son to graduate before joining the league, especially since his performance hasn't really been all that great. Hopefully, Shareef's self-confidence doesn't blow back on him. Let's see how he does in the minor league. His time with the Ignite should allow him to continue to develop his game and eventually sign with the NBA, hopefully sooner rather than later. On the other hand, Bryson Scott believes that Shareef can still have a future in the NBA. Despite having a rough performance in the Summer League, Bryson Scott believes that Shareef has the talent to make it big, but needs to do a lot of work on his game. He also pointed out that another major prospect, Scottie Pippen Jr., looked really good during his time on the court. Shareef and Scottie have been compared against each other all summer, especially since both of them are sons of Hall of Famers and signed to the Lakers. But Byron thinks Scottie is ahead in his development, thanks to the time he spent in college. He also added that nobody who critiques Shareef's performance has to keep in mind that the fact that the man's still recovering from his numerous prior medical condition and that he's still working his way back to top shape. Though his path to the NBA is quite unconventional, Byron believes that he has the best coach available to guide him through the process, his Hall of Famer father. So how are fans reacting to the news? Shareef may not have had the best Summer League experience. However, considering the fact that he's much older than most of the other players on the development team, fans have sent in some pretty hilarious reactions in response to the news. Most of them revolve around poking fun at him for being bumped down and playing amongst high schoolers after he'd been talking about playing with the GOAT, LeBron James. While some believe that Shareef received the contract because of the name on the back of his jersey, the overall reactions still remain positive. Many fans are wishing him the best health and performance-wise. Meanwhile, in other NBA-related news, the 76ers announced a new deal with James Harden. The Philadelphia 76ers officially announced a new deal with veteran guard James Harden on Wednesday. While the club hasn't revealed the terms of the contract yet, we already know that his contract for 2 years and is worth $68.6 million. Plus, it's also included a player option for the 23-24 season. The team of President Basketball Operations, Daryl Morey, posted a picture of him posing alongside Harden on Instagram as the 10-time All-Star guard was signing his contract with a caption reading, "Now this looks like a job for we." The guard has vowed to come back in full swing after battling a hamstring injury that cut his time with the Brooklyn Nets and later the Sixers, as well as after he obtained in a trade deadline deal. He averaged 22 points for Brooklyn and Philadelphia this season as a member of the 75th anniversary team, which is his lowest ever since he became a starter back in 2012-13 season. The three-time scoring champion told AP that he didn't care about taking less money to returned and play for Philly, saying that coming back and playing the part of the aggressor as the scorer and playmaker is something that he needed for himself. Up next is Oklahoma City Thunder hiring Chip England as an assistant coach. The Oklahoma City Thunder have plans to hire Chip England, who's considered to be the NBA's most well-known shooting teacher, as an assistant coach. England's coming to the Thunder after spending a total of 17 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs, where he's been greatly credited for the shooting development of many young players, such as Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, DeJounte Murray, and even some of the other veterans like Richard Jefferson. The 61-year-old left the Spurs after a new contract couldn't be agreed on, which is surprising considering he's been one of the league's highest paid assistant coaches for a very long time. He also has a history with Thunder's general manager Sam Presti, since their paths crossed in San Antonio back in the mid-2000s. England is joining the Thunder as the franchise is brimming with young talent, and there are several more expected to be on the way. Oklahoma City has already gathered young talent such as Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the number 2 pick, Chet Holmgren, while also being in the second year of their rebuild. England is set to work on Mark Daigneault's coaching staff in order to develop the shooting habits across the entire fresh young roster. Meanwhile, the Thunder are also planning on hiring the Philadelphia 76ers executive Vince Rosman as the Vice President of Identification and Intelligence. Rosman has worked his way up over the course of 15 years in Philadelphia, from interim all the way to a vice president role. And let's see how the seasoned coaches handle the younger generation. And lastly, Aaron Baines signs up with NBL's Brisbane Bullets and hopes to return to the NBA. A year has passed since the freak fall at the Tokyo Olympics, which derailed his career and left him hospitalized for months. But now the NBA veteran center player, Aaron Baines, agreed to come back to the world of basketball with the Brisbane Bullets. It's a 2-year contract that will see him joining the NBL at first, but it also has a provision that would allow him to leave and come back to the NBA. Baines has been working out for teams in Las Vegas, a mere 6 months after continuing to play after a grueling rehabilitation process because of the spinal injury he suffered that left him unable to walk in the early stages. He'd fallen on his way to the locker room during the Australia-Italy game last July and spent the next 2 months in a hospital room in Japan and Australia before being able to return home. He wasn't even able to pick up a basketball until January, but it's great to see he's well enough to get back in the game. 35-year-old has had offers from many teams situated in both Europe and China, but those deals wouldn't have let him return to the NBA, which is his main goal. And that's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Shareef O'Neal and the Ignite deal? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.